This podcast episode is a part of the series Listening to Canberra Voices, produced at the Faculty of Arts and Design at the University of Canberra, 2025.
TikTok is a popular social media platform known for its short-form videos and viral trends. In Australia, over 7.6 million people use TikTok, making it a major player in the social media landscape.
Due to the COVID-19 lockdowns in 2020, TikTok became an avenue for people to showcase their artistic abilities and stay connected with others across the nation. TikTok provides the opportunity for people to become successful influencers overnight, and this was the case for our guest speaker, Bree Jean, the founder of #CanberraTalk. Hello, Bree.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
How has your morning been?
My morning has been jam-packed. Been to a few work meetings and stuff like that. We've launched a few properties this week. So
That's very exciting. Well, could you tell us a bit more about yourself, your experience with TikTok and out of TikTok?
yeah, so I'm a Canberra born and bred person. I'd usually word that a bit differently, but I am, born and bred, was across the road at Radford College, Miles Franklin Primary, and a CIT student. So I'm fully fledged. Love UC though, but did go to CIT. I sort of got into the social media stuff after my photography career. I concluded that a little bit, and I just went, I still want something creative in my life. I started making TikToks like the rest of us did in 2020, and then I just made one that just I was really mad one day about the treatment of Canberrans, and I just made this really emphatic TikTok, and then overnight it was one of those early days of TikTok where you go to sleep and you wake up and you're like, holy shit. And then I woke up the next day and called one of my best friends, Britt, and I went, I don't know what to do. And she went, just ride with it. So, and she's a UC alumni actually. And and then I just ran with it, and now we're here. Oh, and I'm a real estate agent and auctioneer as well outside of that. So
Just as the side.
just a side thing.
Yeah.
No, that's my income. It's kind of important. But yeah, so again, the Canberranness comes out. I started in the public service, federal, and then I went through a few industries, and then I found real estate, and it really works for me.
Yeah, that's very good. Very exciting.
I know.
And actually, off the back of about the video that went viral, tell us about it.
Yeah.
So, definitely me and Rosie were massive fans, so we've looked through the TikTok, but what made you kind of...
There's a lot of content. How far did you go back? I'm quite concerned. No, so that one it's the classic Canberra thing where people say it's boring, or or maybe it was the media that just said, today in Canberra. And I just got so ticked off, and I was just like, we're not. We're a city with the Parliament House there. It's not the other way around. And so I just grabbed a few videos. It's not even me. I grabbed a few videos from around, I think I did the Arboretum. I think I did some nice walks or whatever. And I just put a voiceover over it. And I just went, I'm so sick of this. Canberra is so much more than what you think it is. And I hadn't seen any Canberra stuff at that time. And I just said, I'm going to break this down. I'm going to show you food experiences and something else. And I can't remember. But I kind of led it with a series. And then overnight, I think I woke up to, I'm going to say 50,000 views.
Wow.
I can't really remember now, but I think it was there. And it was 13,000 likes. And it was just very polarizing, because obviously Canberra's
Very small.
Yeah.
small but polarizing
Yes.
for people. So, and I woke up to that, and I was just like, oh shit. And I'd had no backup plan. I had no idea what to do for the next one, but I was like, I have to do something quick. This is TikTok. This is not sit back and relax. So I think I walked up a mountain. I walked up Mount Painter in Cook, because I was just like, not many people know about that if you're not from Canberra, but it's a lovely walk. A few people were like, you showed us a walk. That's what you showed us as the first thing. And I went, well, you try doing it. And then I did Goodberries, and I did Kingsley's, and I did all
classics.
the classics. But I've never gone to Parliament House. I've never gone to Questacon. I've never gone to the War Memorial.
Not to the big three.
No, not to the big three, because everyone knows about the big three.
Exactly.
So, I've not refused. I've just, if the time comes, I'll do it. But I've just never felt the need to have to lean into that bit yet.
And I think even like I'm the same as you, born and raised in Canberra, and like finding these little hidden gems, like you're still discovering it. Like Mount Painter, I think I only discovered like 5 years ago, and then Mount Majura. I'm like, they're so like cool. Like those little avenues.
Even as someone who grew up south side, I don't even know what Mount Painter is. So I need to look back and
I'm like
find
Mount
that
Taylor.
mountain.
What's Mount Taylor?
Yeah, see, Mount Taylor's my mountain I grew up walking up.
So like the beauty of Melbourne, if you will, is that every corner has a little bit of a, like you could go find like a cocktail bar and stuff like that. I think Canberra just does that on a grander scale. Like every street could have a little cafe, like because of the way our city is planned. And so like every little shops could have like a little Vietnamese restaurant that does the best banh mi, or like a little cafe in Tuggeranong, Fox and Bow can have the best coffee and stuff. So we do it, we're just a bit more spread out about it and stuff.
Even like little things, like all the parks have food trucks that are
Yeah.
magnificent.
That's only a recent thing though too. Like that's only recently sort of popped up, and I have so many ideas all the time. I'm like, imagine if you did like a Josh Thomas, like please like me, like coffee cart. Do you know what I'm talking about? And like just have a little, and then you could just move it through the park.
Yeah.
See, mine always has been like a sausage sizzle, but every day, because sausage sizzles are only at Bunnings. Where's the ones on a Monday?
I think that's what makes them great.
This
Is
is
that
true.
that is like we don't get the sausage sizzle all the time.
I know you said before that you hadn't seen a lot of Canberra content. Do you think your content sort of drove the hashtag Canberra Talk that went viral in 2020?
It absolutely did, because I was the one that made it. That sounds so ego driven, but it's not. It was back in the day when everything was talk. So if you wanted something like if you wanted to make it law, you just something talk. Hashtag book talk, hashtag like food talk, hashtag all these things. So I did Canberra, like I did the full name Canberra Talk. I've kind of stepped away from that now, but I remember at one point, I think it was a year in, and I just looked at the hashtag and it was like 1.1 million views under this user, and I was like under this hashtag, and I just went, holy shit, that's me. Like sounds again like an ego boost, and it's not. It's just a reality of just because then other people jumped in on it, and I'm so glad they did. And I'm not saying that I was the only Canberra content creator. I wasn't, but I was probably a loud one.
Yeah, definitely. The one that I saw the most in that time.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Yeah.
Did you ever expect to grow such the following you did at the time?
No, but I hoped for it. I've been on a recent podcast and I said I made it for me. I did. But I like entertaining people and I like doing that. And so when that happened, I was like, this is my opportunity. Yeah. This is my time to. So I'd gone from like, I think 500 followers to like 13,000. And I was just like, I'm not letting this go. But I have to keep making content that's for me. Yeah. Because when you go to Sydney and Melbourne at the start, I was like, when you go to Sydney and Melbourne, you just like, you can easily find things like that content creators or influencers do. No one is there for Canberra in that regard. There is now, by the way. There are tons out there. Yeah. And a lot of them were on Instagram but hadn't made that transition over to TikTok at that time. So then I was just like, okay, I'll do that. And then I was like, I'm not letting this go. But I knew how important it was to be Canberra's big sister and be Canberra's defender, and I will never not be that. Yeah. But TikTok is weird in this city. It can't necessarily work all the time for a city that has to remain quiet because of jobs.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a... I would love to just keep making Canberra content. The recommendations and stuff, everyone's like, you should do more. I was like, I can't. But there are so... Like, I'm so busy these days, but I'm also like, I'll do it when I can. Yeah. And I'll go back to my roots. But there are so many other better Canberra content creators that do such beautiful, artistic, and still authentic content around the food scene. The food scene in Canberra is... It's so underrated. Yeah. Like, I know we use that word a lot, but it is so underrated.
It's
agree.
Just little hidden nooks all over the place.
Onzime, so that restaurant that has one hat, it's in Kingston. It's on the corner. It's old in old Kingston shops. Everyone's like, oh, it's a great restaurant. I'm like, yeah, but there's a wine bar underneath it.
Oh.
Yeah, and I just suggested that to one of my friends to take a date, and he was like, oh, yeah, I forgot about that. I'm like, don't forget. It's so cool.
And
so,
I think that's like the hardest part, because like you think of food places, you instantly think of Melbourne. You just go, oh my gosh, Melbourne has all the great food restaurants. But Canberra in itself has so many good food places.
Two people come to mind in that regard. So you had the Shameless Media podcast that had a sponsorship deal with Visit Canberra. Visit Canberra are really branching out with their brand collaborations at the moment, which I'm loving. And then also Two Broke Chicks. Yeah. And they're both Melbourne podcasts, and they just went, I was shocked by the Canberra food scene. I'm like, don't be shocked. We just stepped out of your shadow.
Exactly.
Like, we've now got to, like, we had head chef Josh Lundy who made Bar Rochford. Yep. Like, he's now left and he's gone to do something amazing as well, and he'll succeed in all of that. But he establish the Bar Rochefort energy, and we all love Bar Rochefort for what it is. And also their wine sommelier has been applauded and is the sommelier of the year for good foods. And she's an amazing sommelier. Like, her and Josh made that scene, and it is now one of the most famous bars, restaurants in Canberra.
Yep.
So like, yeah, the food scene here is just so underrated. I'm still so passionate about it, but I just can't keep up because there's so many new food stuff coming on.
Do you have a favourite?
Well, Bar Rochefort, obviously. but I would say it goes either way for me, because like in Canberra, I find that it's either super fancy food or it's super like comfort food, and there is no in between. And for some reason, Canberra love ice cream.
Oh my gosh, yes.
We do.
Why do we love ice cream so much? We're cold, like a natural cold state. But there'll be lines out Mazinas in winter
Yes.
with their black cat Mandu jackets on. I'm like, babes, make it make sense.
Yeah, or even just outside Good Breeze in Arendelle, there's people lining the
Oh,
street.
Yes.
we love it. See, comfort food.
Yeah.
Yep.
Whereas Mazinas, that fancy ice cream. And then Anita's is like, again, fancy.
Yes.
And then like so many ice cream places. I don't get it. But my favorite at this time, that's a really tough call. Like I've had people ask me that before, and I always draw a blank because there's so much at the moment that there's literally something opening up every weekend. Actually, do you know what it is? It's not even like a restaurant, and it's like have you heard of Barrio?
No.
That's a hole in the wall cafe. And it's like, it's not like, it's so cutesy, and it's just like, it's on Lonsdale Street, and it's my place where I go to get like my morning tea because I don't drink coffee.
Yeah, that's fine.
And it's just like such a nice brew because I don't and they have really good toasties. But then next door to that is B-side, and they do a great sausage muffin and egg muffin. B-side. So they're the same people that have Intra in Canberra, in Campbell. So like, and they're right across the road from each other. So I'll get the sausage egg muffin there, and then I'll get and it's called the morning tea at Barrio.
Nice.
And then I have the best breakfast.
Delicious.
I'm really in on breakfast right now.
Get it?
Yes.
Yeah.
And another question I have for you is, how do you balance authenticity with creating content that's actually like engaging for the audience and gets those followers?
I guess like it comes back, unfortunately, to my personality. I don't really understand. I've always found it a bit of a struggle for people to be like, just be yourself. I've always found that really weird because I'm just like, who the hell am I else meant to be? But I also get it because I'm neurodivergent. So like I call it chameleoning to appease people. But when it comes down to who I am, I've just always just been like, well, this is me. I can't fake this. And I have equally been praised and ridiculed for it. So it's not something, unfortunately, I know a lot of people sometimes do struggle with that. And I'm an arsehole for just going, just be you. But I just don't know how else to be.
Yeah.
So in terms of authenticity, that's never been a problem. So the content gets delivered and it can be received so positively. But I've definitely recently seen, and in physical face-to-face form, have seen the ramifications of that authenticity as well, because you're not meant to get along with everyone.
Yeah.
And when you're this loud and when you're this authentic in commas, people then be like, well, you dish it out, I'm going to give it back.
And how do you deal with like the negativity that you may receive for content?
Yeah. As a people pleaser, it's a bit of a hard one at the moment. And I've definitely hit a new wave of audience members as well, being on the wrong side of the internet. Because I do real estate content as well, and that's a minefield because that is a very triggering place for a lot of people. And the block and delete feature I've never really used that, but I'm now using that constantly. But I also don't want to create an echo chamber where I lose perspective from the other side. And I think that's so important for right now, what's going on. You don't have to agree, but you have to stay aware because there's clearly feelings involved. Yeah. So I have a really solid group of friends too because I'm a verbal processor. So poor my best friend who gets like a call from me at least once a week or twice a week, and I'm just like, I have to talk about this. And he's like, okay, I have 30 minutes. We have been on the phone once for 2 hours, the poor thing, just because I need to verbally process. He also talks, but like he knows it's for me. Yeah. And he's like, you're the only person I take calls from. I'm a caller. I'm not a texter. Texting for me, I'm like, it's too slow.
Yeah.
So
a lot of my friends do the audio messages now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a podcast in itself.
Yeah, it is.
100%.
And you're like, they're just going like holding like while doing dishes or like eating
Yes.
food, and you're
Yeah.
like, wow.
Well, I know you said before that you've sort of stepped away from that Canberra content. You're more focused on other things you're interested in.
Yeah.
Obviously, you post a lot more political content now. Could you give
Yes.
us a little bit more a dive into that?
Yes. Well, obviously, there was a very charged moment a couple of weeks ago, and it's probably going to make a few headlines again. The opposition obviously saying that their intention is to get rid of jobs here. That, for context, is 32% of the Commonwealth workforce, which is crazy. That'll impact us more severely. So look, the political content, yes, it definitely does get a stronger reaction. And to say, like, I do still do Canberra content and stuff. That was a happy merriment in that regard because that was political and Canberra based. I love how we just said Canberra public servants too, not like, because I'm not sure if you guys are aware, but the ABS like does all the stats of where all the, so there's over 175,000 state employees in New South Wales. But, yeah, 175. They make up more than half of the public servant workers, public sector workers. But yet he isolated the because that's the one he can control. He can't control state. He can't control the state government, but he can control the Commonwealth government.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, whatever. But I think I've always been interested in politics. I was raised, as I said, like this city inadvertently makes you political.
Yes.
And you can't shy away from that. But then I'm not in and stuff. So, but like I was in a family that I was never allowed to watch Simpsons. So, but like my parents would be like, okay, we get like, here's the local news at 6, here's the national news at 6:30, here's the ABC news at 7, here's 7:30 report. And then there's Four Corners. And, you are your environment. So all of a sudden then I was not inadvertently drawn to media, to politics. And anyone who says, oh, but like, I know there's a common thing at the moment saying books aren't political. Yeah. Everything is political. Yeah. Everything is political. It's just about whether you want to talk about it or not.
Exactly.
And you are allowed to not talk about it, but to not talk about it is an immense amount of privilege.
Yeah.
And you've got to be aware of that.
Yeah, definitely.
So, yeah, and it gets a lot of reactions online because that's what the social media channels want.
Yeah.
They want you to create polarizing content.
Yeah.
100%. For any aspiring TikTok or people who want to become, have a presence on TikTok and want to become, TikTokers, that's the word I was looking for, what piece of advice would you give them?
I think you answered it earlier, and that's being authentic and making it for yourself. I think in the commercialization of social media, people make it for the audience. And I spoke with Ash Farode about this as well, and he worded it really well. There is a grey area in our industry because social media is a creative space. And I think there is now so much grey of commercialization of social media. I'm very thankful that social media is not my full-time job, so I have a lot of creativity license. Some people think of social media as a business. Some people think of social media as an artistic, like me, and stuff. But if you want to make a go of it, you've got to make it for yourself. You can't make it for the brands. Find out why you're making the social media content and go from there, but remain authentic to yourself as to why you're making it.
I think that's perfect advice and a great way to end the episode. Yeah. So thank you so much for taking the time to join with us.
Thank you for asking me. I'm very touched.
I'm very touched. Thank you so much.
All right, have a lovely day, guys.